Hello friends, in this video we shall learn about the Sindh accepts the subsidiary alliance. Previously we have seen the event involving the Lord Auckland and the Sindh and how as a Governor General of India, Lord Auckland had played a great game, in order to safeguard India from the Russian invasion. Strategically, Sindh was made a gateway for the British military and the trade interest to Afghanistan and Persia in order to counter any sort of Russian influence. Then they made treaty with the Sindh's rulers, who were also known as Amirs. And when Ranjit Singh was the ruler of Punjab, captured Rojan, a new frontier town of Sindh, it created an opportunity for the British to intervene. And the British pressured the Amir of Sindh into signing a treaty under the pretext of protecting their territory from Ranjit Singh. The treaty allowed the British to secure their presence and navigation right on the Indus River, a critical route for trade and troop movement. Now, why did Sindh accept the subsidiary alliance in 1839? This was an important question. That why was subsidiary alliance accepted by the Sindh during 1839? Because nobody wanted to lose its sovereignty. The subsidiary alliance was a policy introduced by British under Lord Wellesley to establish indirect control over Indian princely state. As per the alliance, state had to maintain the British troops, accept the British authority and avoid alliances with any other power without the British approval. So, why was Sindh strategically important to the British? We have already read. Sindh was geographically located near the northwest frontier, making it a key region for the British trade and military operations. It provided access to the Indus River, which was vital for the navigation and the supply route. Sindh also acted as a buffer zone to counter the perceived threat of a Russian invasion through Afghanistan. So the Amirs of Sindh were initially very much reluctant to sign the subsidiary alliance, but eventually they had to accept subsidiary alliance due to the pressure from the British. The British forced them to sign the treaty threatening the military intervention. They also had the fear from the Ranjit Singh. The Amir feared aggression from Ranjit Singh and believed aligning with the British might provide protection when required. And weak internal position. The weak administration of Sindh made it difficult for the Amir to resist the British pressure effectively. So by accepting the subsidiary alliance, Sindh lost much of its sovereignty. The British gained control over the regions and defense and foreign policy, eventually annexing Sindh in 1843 under Sir Charles Napier. So let's begin the session. Sindh accepts the subsidiary alliance in 1839. The company intended to persuade the army to pay money and also to repeal the clause in the Treaty of 1832 that prohibited the movement of English troops into Sindh by land or river. So B.L. Grover writes, under the threat of superior force, the Amir accepted the treaty in February 1839, by which the British army was to stationed at Shikarpur and Bukkar, and the Amir of the Sindh were to pay 3 lakh annually for the maintenance of the company's troops. The Amir were barred from conducting any negotiation with the foreign state without the knowledge of the company. In addition, they were to provide storerooms at Karachi for the company's military supplies, besides abolishing all the tolls on the Indus, and to prepare an auxiliary force for the Afghan war when called for. So like earlier we have read that even the passport was required in order to enter into the Sindh for trading purpose by the Britishers. Okay. And they were not supposed to carry any weapon with them. Now under the threat of the external attack, they had to accept the Subsidiary Alliance in 1839. And they had stationed the British troops at Shikarpur and Bukkar. Also, they had to pay 3 lakhs annually for the maintenance of the company's troops. And they cannot make any alliances or trade with any foreign states without the knowledge of the British. So, in addition, they will be provided with the British troops whenever needed and any kind of protection required from the neighboring states. So the British troop will protect the Sindh from the foreign attacks or any neighboring state attack. Okay. So these all things were done under this treaty. Now the capitalization of Sindh. Okay. Under this, what happened? This term referred to the British exploitation of Sindh for economic and strategic gain. Sindh was made a British territory in 1843 under Sir Charles Napier, who used its resources, especially river and the trade route, to enhance British dominance in India. The conquest marked a turning point in British expansion in the northwest. Criticism of the conquest of Sindh. The moral criticism. Conquest was often criticized as unjust. British provoked the Amir of Sindh into conflict, giving them a pretext for annexation. Political criticism. Many believe that conquest was unnecessary and primarily motivated by economic interest. Military ethics. Sir Charles Napier faced criticism for his brutal tactics and insensitivity to local traditions. Okay, so these all are the things. Let's see. The first Anglo-Afghan war in 1839 to 42 was fought on the soil of Sindh. So where did it took place? It took place on Sindh, in Sindh only, which the Amir of the Sindh never liked, and also they did not like the presence of the British troops in their territory. Under the treaty, they did everything what was asked for their services. They were neither rewarded nor thanked, but were accused of hostility and disaffection towards the British government. So the Amir were accused of seditious activity against the British, and Ellenborough sent Outram to Sindh to negotiate a new treaty. Under this new treaty, the Amir were required to seal important provinces at the expense of their past crimes, supply fuel to the company's steamers plying on the Indus River, and stop minting coins. In succession to the disputes, British intervened through the Napier, and then the Amir rebelled within a short time. The whole Sindh surrenders and the Amirs were taken captive and expelled from the Sindh. In 1843, under Governor General Ellenborough, Sindh was annexed to the British Empire and Charles Napier appointed as the first governor. Okay. So it means that Sindh were asked by the British to take care of all the expenses of the British soldiers and held them in their land. Okay, and the Amir agreed and they did everything, whatever the British asked them to do. But the British were not kind to the Amirs. Even though the Amir held them, they were never thankful. Instead, the British said bad things about them. They accused the Amir of doing something very seditious activity. That means trying to make some trouble for the government or wanting to fight against them. But the Amir did not actually do anything wrong. Then a British leader who was named as Ellenborough sent a man called Outram to talk to the Amir and make a new agreement. Under this agreement, actually this new agreement was unfair because the Amir had to give away some of their land to the British. They had to stop making their own coins. They can't mint their own coins because the British wanted to control the money. Okay, and this Amir had to provide fuels for the British steamships and that traveled on the river. Later, a British officer named Napier came to the Sindh in the winter and he fought and took control over the Sindh. This made the Amir to lose their power and the Sindh became the part of the British territories. So in short, we can understand that the Amir of the Sindh helped the British but were treated badly. The British had accused them of being disloyal, but actually they were not disloyal, and also forced them to agree to the unfair rules. Eventually, the British took over the Sindh completely. This is how they conquest. This is how is the story of the conquest of the Sindh. Now, because everything was unfair, so there will be criticism anyways. So, criticism of the conquest of the Sindh. Historians generally strongly condemned the takeover of the Sindh by the British. The reason for the merger were deliberately fabricated. However, the first Afghan war, the British suffered very badly at the hand of the Afghans as well as lost the prestige, and to compensate for this, they captured Sindh. So, British lost badly in Afghanistan, first Anglo-Afghan war. In order to recover from this failure, they captured Sindh and expanded their empire in India. Okay. So this was the thing. The British wanted to control Afghanistan because they were afraid of Russia and they thought that Russia might attack India through Afghanistan. They invaded Afghanistan and tried to replace the Afghan king. But the local people did not like this interference and the Afghans fought back fiercely. And in 1842, the British were forced to retreat. Almost all their soldiers were killed. The retreat from Kabul to Jalalabad. And this was a big defeat and the British lost respect or prestige in that region. Now to make up for their failure in First Anglo-Afghanistan War, the British turned their attention to the Sindh, which is right now in Pakistan, and they accused the ruler of the Sindh, the Amirs, of being untrustworthy and used this as an excuse to attack them. Under General Charles Napier, the British defeated armies in 1843 and took control over it, and this helped the British to regain some power and influence in the northwest of India after their humiliation in Afghanistan. So this is all about the criticism and of the conquest of the Sindh. Now conquest of Punjab. Consolidation of Punjab under the Sikhs. After the assassination of the last Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, a section of the Sikhs led by Banda Bahadur rebelled against the Mughals during the rule of Banda Bahadur Shah. In 1715, Banda Bahadur was defeated by Farooq Shiar and he was executed in 1716. So, Guru Gobind Singh was the last Sikh Guru. He was very wise and a brave leader who guided the Sikhs. But after his death, a Sikh leader named Banda Bahadur fought against the Mughal ruler because Sikhs wanted to protect their people and religion. Banda Bahadur was defeated by the Mughal ruler whose name was Farooq Shiar, and later he was captured and executed in 1760. So what happened to the Sikh after the Banda Bahadur? The Sikh did not have a strong leader anymore, and they got divided into two groups, Bandai Sikh and Tat Khalsa Sikhs. Bandai Sikh were more open-minded and liberal, whereas Tat Khalsa Sikhs, they followed strict traditional rule and were more orthodox. So, then who had united the Sikh again? Okay, so in 1784, a leader named Kapoor Singh, Faizullah Kapoor, organized the Tat Khalsa group to bring the Sikh together. He wanted them to be very strong in politics, culture and economy. So Tat Khalsa had two parts. First, Buddhadal and second Tarunadal. Buddhadal, army of the veteran. Okay, this was for the older, experienced people, and Tarunadal was the army of the youth. This was for the younger and energetic warrior. Okay, and what helped the Sikh to become stronger? It was two things that helped the Sikh to become stronger. First, the Mughal was becoming weaker. They could not fight the Sikh that strongly. Second, the foreign invader named Ahmad Shah Abdali attacked Punjab, which made the Sikh more united to protect their land. After Guru Gobind Singh death, the Sikh faced so many problems, but they got united under the Kapoor Singh and they organized themselves into a strong group and worked for protection of their culture and religion. Okay. So Banda Bahadur was defeated by Farooq Shiar and he was executed in 1716. The Sikh politics once again became leaderless and subsequently divided into two groups, Bandai and Tat Khalsa. That is, Bandai are the liberal one, Tat Khalsa were the orthodox one. In 1784, Kapoor Singh Faizullah Puria organized Sikh under Dal Khalsa with the aim of uniting the follower of the Sikhism politically, culturally and economically. The entire organization of the Khalsa was divided into two parts, Buddha Dal, the army of the veterans, Taruna Dal, the army of the youth. The weakness of the Mughal and the invasion of the Ahmad Shah Abdali helped to organize Dal Khalsa in Punjab to become stronger. The Sikh organized into Misl, which were military brotherhood. So The Sikh had created misls to stay united and protect Punjab. And these groups were fair, strong, and worked like small states under the Sikh leader. Okay. Now, misls were the group formed by the Sikh, and these groups were military team, brotherhood, and they followed a democratic system where everyone had their voice. What does the word misl mean? The word misl it comes from the Arabic word, and it means equal or similar. That is what it is. They were democratic in nature. Another meaning of the misl is a state or a territory. So misl were led by the Sikh leader, and these Sikh leaders were called as chieftains. From 1763 to 1773, these misl ruled different part of the Punjab region, and each misl controlled its area and they worked together to protect and govern it. The misl helped the Sikh to stay organized and strong during tough times. They were like small armies and they worked together to defend Punjab and maintain Sikh tradition. Okay, so the Sikh organized into misl, which were military brotherhood with a democratic system. Misl is an Arabic word and this means equal or similar, and the second meaning of the misl is a state or a territory. During the period from 1763 to 1773, several misl began to rule the Punjab region under the Sikh chieftains. So this is all in this video. In the next video, we shall learn about Sukar Chakia Misl and Ranjit Singh. Till then, keep studying.